everybody, and welcome to Right Here, Right Now, live Buffalo football talk presented by Forefathers Organics. I'm your host, Alex Brasky, alongside my co-host, Ajay Cybulski, here for the Batavia Daily and Livingston County News. Each week, we'll discuss Buffalo's favorite football team, along with all the comings and goings from Orchard Park, thanks to our friends at Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
All right, AJ, little Black Friday football behind me. The Kansas City Chiefs deadlocked in a 3-3 game against the vaunted Las Vegas Raiders. Another tough game for the Chiefs this week, and they're in another battle. But as we get ready for the impending winter storm set to sweep through western New York and potentially set up a snow game for the Bills against the 49ers, we'll discuss that a little bit more later. But first, AJ, we have a special guest today, the mysterious Bruce Nolan. Tried to get an eyebrow reveal out of him during this episode, but no dice. He wasn't agreeable to that. So instead, Bruce will talk to us about Terrell Bernard, the X factor of the Bills offense outside of Josh Allen, the Bills 49ers matchup, and also some Thanksgiving discourse. And before we get to Bruce and welcome him in, how was your Thanksgiving, AJ? How'd your mac and cheese turn out?
Yeah, it was good. I tried a TikTok recipe that's been going viral. Some Dijon mustard in there, 3 different cheeses: Colby Jack, mozzarella cheddar. It was a lot of cheese. It was cheesy. My family didn't eat all of it, so I actually had some leftovers for lunch, and I'll probably have some more at another time later or tomorrow. But overall, it's always been good. I think we talked about it before. I didn't eat as much this year. I don't know what it was. I did, go out on Wednesday night, so that might have been a part of it. The typical Wednesday night barrage of going out before Thanksgiving. It's been a tradition me and my friends do now for a few years since we've been legal. So, yeah, that might be a part of it. But overall, I had a really good time with family, and watched actually some pretty good football games despite the matchups that were presented on paper.
Yeah, it was a fine day for sure. Great day with family. My younger brother came in from Nashville. My older brother came to Batavia from Buffalo. Great time with our father as well. So happy to put that behind us and happy to get to Bills 49ers. And on that note, let us welcome in our guest today, Bruce Nolan, the mysterious one. Bruce, how's it going? How was Thanksgiving on your end?
Gentlemen, Thanksgiving was fantastic. It was a party all the time. Disco balls, dancers, dubstep. Nobody does it quite like the Nolans for Thanksgiving, and it was delightful. I've been on the warpath recently to try to defend turkey, and basically saying, hey, the reason y'all don't like turkey is because you're not cooking it correctly. And so we had some turkey that was good, and I was pleased with it. And that was about 60 to 70% of my consumption over the last 24 hours has been turkey or turkey-based dishes in some sort.
Bruce, you what turkey-based dishes we talking here? We talking sandwiches, soups? Like what you doing with your turkey that you got left over?
Well, the first thing you got to understand is that turkey is, by its very nature, an extremely versatile food. So yes, the answer is turkey sandwiches, right? You can make, you can throw turkey in your eggs in the morning. You can make turkey in your chili or your soups in the evening. And so it's a little bit like just not wanting to waste any of it. So you build your entire meal around whatever it is. So I'm going to have turkey in my eggs. I'm going to have turkey in my soup. I'm going to have turkey in the sandwiches. I'm going to have like open-faced turkey sandwiches, right? Take some bread and put some gravy on there and, call it a day with the turkey. Whatever I can do to make it work, I'm going to make it work, because I'll be daggoned if I'm going to get rid of this turkey.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of the opposite. I'm not a turkey hater by any means, but I indulge in the sides like no tomorrow. Give me the stuffing, give me the rolls, give me the potatoes, even the vegetables. I do a little brown sugar in my carrots. I'm sure I'm not the first to do that, but I find that delectable as well. But Bruce, why don't we shift gears here to a little bit of Bills talk? I'm sure that's what the people joined us for. Who knows? Maybe they did join us for the Thanksgiving talk. But the Bills' offense has been thriving in its first full season under Joe Brady as offensive coordinator. A much more balanced, efficient unit. Josh Allen keeping the mistakes at a bare minimum. And that's through the distinct transition, injuries to key pieces. Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, even Khalil Shakir's missed a game this season. So in your view, beyond Josh Allen, who do you view as the X factor for the Bills' offensive success this season?
It's got to be the offensive line. To your point about being balanced, if you want to be balanced, you need a good offensive line. Like, you're not going to find an offense that is intrinsically consistently well balanced without good offensive line play. I think what you're starting to see is the vision of offensive line coach Aaron Kromer really start to manifest itself. Now, the last couple of games without Spencer Brown, it's been different. But I will say this, that when you look across the board at some of the maneuvers that were made this offseason by the Buffalo Bills, a lot of the ones that got the attention were the significant names in the defensive back seven, right? Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. But arguably the most impactful ones came on the offensive line with the trade of Ryan Bates, with the release of Mitch Morse. And it was, okay, we're shifting some pieces around for a Buffalo Bills offensive line that was extremely healthy last year. And one of the questions coming into this year is, hey, you made some maneuvers to kind of hurt your offensive line depth there. How comfortable are you with the Ryan Vandemarks of the world being your swing tackle and having David Edwards go from a sixth utility offensive lineman to a starting left guard, moving your starting left guard, Connor McGovern, over to center? And so far, all of those things have worked out at least at a good or potentially very good level to allow this offensive line to really be the core of the offense. And so for me, aside from Josh Allen, the X factor of the Bills' offensive production thus far has been a good offensive line that has allowed them to be balanced. It's a top right offensive line, right? When you look at any sort of scatter plot that uses X and Y coordinates and run blocking and pass blocking, Bills' offensive line is always somewhere in the top right. That's exactly where you want to be.
And I had a minor concern with that unit entering the year, and boy, they proved me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely were a little bit lower, but Alex, I don't think you had questions about the starters. I think you were more concerned about the depth, right? I think you had more questions about that. So overall, the starters haven't seen a lot of those snaps, but kind of my next question for you, Bruce, and it's hard because I think quarterbacks are always, changing like a Bo Nix. He started the year slow, right? Especially in their first 3 years. It's a very unlinear progression of a quarterback. You see Jaden Daniels, he's starting to cool off a little bit. Caleb Williams has been very hot and cold. You saw Josh Allen, obviously, through his first 2 seasons, specifically really just up and down, and then obviously the breakout year. So he's still growing right now in his 7th, 8th season in the NFL. So my kind of question is, what's been the key for Josh Allen's improvement in his efficiency and low risk play this season? Because I think that's been, another part of his game that continues to develop. And he's a guy that's been throwing picks left and right the last few years. So he's really developed in that aspect. So what's been the key to why he's cleaned that up?
It's hard pressed to ever put one thing on any reason, but I'll level with you. If you were asking me to power rank the reasons why Josh Allen's been more efficient this year than he has been historically, it's Khalil Shakir. When you have the ability to gain at a bigger level, at a higher level, if you have the ability to gain yak as an offense and you have players who are comfortable gaining you yak and you as a quarterback understand that, hey, if I throw this ball 4 yards in the air, I feel comfortable he can make a guy miss and get 7 or 8. That allows you to just naturally be more risk adverse because you don't feel the need intrinsically to always throw the ball past the sticks on every single play with the idea that your receivers are not going to help you. I mean, Khalil Shakir has almost 2 full screen targets per game. Mm-hmm. And that's a big number, right? DJ Moore for the Chicago Bears over the last couple of weeks has gotten a lot of screen targets, but over the course of the year, the person who leads the NFL is Khalil Shakir in screen targets per game. And when you think about the yak that Josh Allen's been generating from this offense versus previous iterations of this offense, which has been a conversation point for seemingly years, has been, hey, is it a scheme thing? Is it a Josh Allen ball placement thing? What's the deal? Or you don't have the right people in place? And when we saw from the offense this offseason, when you got Keon Coleman, you got Curtis Samuel, and all of a sudden Khalil Shakir moves up in the pecking order, you think, is this the year? I mean, if this isn't the year, then when is it happening for the Buffalo Bills offense to get some yak? And sure enough, they got some yak. And I think that the key to the efficiency and low risk play is the idea and the confidence in the quarterback that you're going to get it. that I don't have to do all this by myself. If I throw this 5-yard hitch route, you know what? You never know. Maybe he'll break a tackle. Maybe he'll go for 30. And the idea that maybe I don't have to do that all by myself allows you to be more comfortable as a quarterback saying, I'm going to throw this ball short of the sticks, maybe not third down, but maybe on second down, I'm okay, because who knows what's going to happen. And Khalil Shakir and the other players associated with getting yak, because you think about it, Cole Beasley, not a huge yak guy. Stephon Diggs, not a yak guy. You go and you, over the course of the years, you replace them. Gabe Davis, not a yak guy. And so you're kind of like, well, I mean, you replace him with Curtis Samuel, yak guy. Keon Coleman, yak guy. Khalil Shakir, yak guy. And now all of a sudden you're more comfortable. I think that's a big part of Josh Allen's willingness to be a little bit more low risk and ending up being more efficient.
Couldn't agree with you more. And it's shocking that the Buffalo Bills are one of the best screen teams in the NFL. What we've seen from them the past several years, they've not been able to get that screen game going, maybe due to personnel or the way they scheme it up. But I think they're really doing both this year, and you're seeing that yak just explode. And I think you're preaching to the choir in terms of AJ. He said before the season and early in the season when the Bills were going through some of their difficulties, he said the lack of easy button throws. And I think that's what Khalil Shakir presents to this offense. And I think you hit the nail on the head. That's what has allowed Josh Allen to become more efficient. AJ, you were all over that early in the year and during the preseason.
Yeah, well, Bruce and me talk a lot about dynasty in the Twitter messages and the Twitter sphere. And I was trying to go back and forth with Curtis Samuel or Khalil Shakir. And I was higher on Khalil Shakir, obviously, just with the camaraderie and what he had. But I should have given up, looking back, retrospect, I should have given up Curtis Samuel to Bruce and allowed him. I mean, he's been better as of late, but still not enough for me to like, I still could have gotten some good value out of that. But yeah, I think with, what Khalil Shakir brings, he's a better Cole Beasley, in my opinion, and especially after the catch. Maybe Cole Beasley's a more nuanced route runner and works better out of the slot in terms of like, the technique and what you need to do to be a true slot receiver. But if you're asking me who you'd rather have, maybe he hasn't had that all-pro Cole Beasley season yet, but I'm telling you, Khalil Shakir is a really good player, and he's, his ability after the catch is really what has allowed, especially Dalton Kincaid, add him to the list, right? Like that was his MO coming out of college, was yards after the catch, put on his Utah film. It's all him getting yards after the catch. He can still beat you down the seam, but that's a lot of what he did. You're seeing a total kind of revision of this Bills, team. James Cook can run after the catch, all these guys. And that's kind of, like Bruce said, why Josh Allen is playing such efficient turnover-free football right now.
Let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. We mentioned the Bills' offensive leader, now their defensive leader. Terrell Bernard, what he's been able to do these past 2 seasons as the team's starting middle linebacker, really coming out of nowhere. There was a lot of doubt that he would even win that job. He wins it, and he's really hit the ground running and hasn't looked back. It's been an incredible experience to watch him. The Bills were waiting for those splash plays from their middle linebacker for years with Tremaine Edmonds. Enter Terrell Bernard, and he seemingly makes one every single week. And he really is just a complete player. The way that he communicates at the line of scrimmage, his ability to come up and stop the run at his size. How good is he, Bruce, in your opinion? I don't know how you want to attack that question. And what makes him such a good player in your mind? If you could narrow it down to 1, 2, 3 things that you see with his physical traits, how is he so impactful in so many ways?
He's very good. How's that? Is that good? Did I do good? Did I do the job really well? I think one of the things that we should take away from the conversation around Terrell Bernard is that we should trust the relationship that Sean McDermott has with Baylor head coach Dave Aranda. I really think that's a big takeaway. I think that one of the things that's difficult to calculate is Aranda runs, this 3-3-5 defense at Baylor, and it's really hard and quite frankly unpleasant to watch that film. Like when you're watching prospects coming out of Baylor, it is unpleasant to watch 3-3-5 film because you wonder how much it translates. And so I think that some of the teams out there are gonna struggle the way that they struggle with like tweeners, right? We always talk about teams going, I don't really know what to do with them. I'm not really sure. I feel like that's going to push down players who come from a system like that because people are going to go, I don't know what to do with this. Like how many reps that you watch on film are actually like translatable? It's a little bit like watching like the Tennessee Volunteers offense, right? It's a Mickey Mouse offense. You look at it and go, how much of this is translatable? We saw it with Jalen Hyatt coming out. We saw it with Cedric Tillman coming out. We saw it with Jalen Wright coming out. And we were like, what do we even do here? You see with the quarterbacks, every year Tennessee has some sort of strong-armed quarterback who can't hit the broadside of a barn, and we are all talking about whether or not he's going to be good because it's the Tennessee offense. It's very similar with the Baylor defense, and I think that one of the big takeaways is that if you have the ability to have a connection with a coach and be able to call him up and go, listen, man, I don't want to watch this 3-3-5 film anymore because it's very unpleasant. Just tell me, can the guy play or not? And he goes, yes, the guy can play. The guy can probably play. I think Terrell Bernard, what you saw is that one of the things we talked about with Tremaine Edmonds over and over and over again during his time here was instincts. We said instincts over and over. Yes, there's no question. The guy's a freak, right? But we always talked about instincts, and whether or not that's the thing that holds you back from having splash plays. And what you've seen from Terrell Bernard is under the tutelage of Matt Milano, under the tutelage of Dave Aranda, under the tutelage of Sean McDermott, you've seen what an instinctual middle linebacker looks like. You've seen it making significant plays in coverage. You've seen him just showing up in the ability to take things off the menu in coverage. And a lot of what linebacker play is doesn't really get noticed until there's splash plays. And that's quite frankly not fair, but it's just part of the deal. It's part of the deal that you don't really notice him unless he shows up in a really negative or really positive way. And Terrell Bernard, for all of the questions coming out, including many by myself, and having him come out and go, I mean, I don't know. Is he taking over? I don't know if he's really a middle linebacker. Sean McDermott understands back seven play. It's that simple. And when it comes down to the back seven on a defense, you just kind of got to trust him. So I think one of the big takeaways from Terrell Bernard is that Sean McDermott knows what he's doing on the back seven.
Yeah, Terrell Bernard has been, like you said, Bruce, I think instinctive is a great word for him. I think he struggled a bit in coverage more this year. But again, I think when the ball's in the air, if he's in the right spot, he's able to get there. And again, he's very fierce in the run game and he's very efficient. I think also Dorian Williams has been a guy that, again, he's struggled in coverage, but he's still been a guy that's filled in nicely for that Matt Milano injury. And hopefully he can get back on the field on Sunday. But Bruce, I want to continue with the defense, stick on that side of the ball. I thought the defense has done a really good job under Bobby Babich. I thought the defensive line this year, I had my concerns majorly about them. While the interior starters at Oliver and Daquan Jones have struggled, I think, a bit, maybe have gotten better as of late. I think the people behind them, I thought Jordan Phillips stepped up nicely when he was signed. Quentin Jefferson's been a good piece. Dwayne Carter was good before the IR, the wrist injury. And then on the outside as well, Greg Rousseau's having one of his best seasons, causing havoc, pressures, all that stuff, along with, I think, Von Miller's having an okay season as well. And then linebacker play, obviously, we just talked about. And the defensive backs, I mean, it's been phenomenal considering all the pieces that left. So, again, like I said, I think it's been good, but where do you think it can get better? Is there room for improvement on this Bobby Babich defense? And if so, where?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's the defensive interior. I think one of the things we haven't talked about this year very much is that Daquan Jones has not shown up to the level that we were expecting over the last couple of years and what we've seen from him over the last couple of years in this defense. And the thing that's strange about it is that if he was coming off of that pectoral injury, you might say, oh no, he got hurt. He's not the same guy. But we saw him come back at the end of last year and play at a high level. And the Bills this past offseason took a very much, let's get younger and cheaper, right? Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Mitch Morse. We already talked about it. The exception to that rule was Daquan Jones, who they brought back. And it feels like for about 2 years there, we were like, okay, I'm done talking about one tech defensive tackle. I feel like I talked about it for a million years. You got Daquan Jones. He played out of his absolute gourd. And then all of a sudden, now I have to talk about it again because I know people are sick and tired of hearing about defensive line, but it's going to be on the table for a first-round pick again in 2024. And I know people are sick and talk about it, but if you actually sit down and you watch the level of play you've gotten from Daquan Jones over the course of this season, I don't think it's been up to that standard. Now, is there time for that? Sure, I think there's time for that. And I think you could probably, see improvement over the course of the rest of the year. But the thing that kind of gives you a little bit of pause is that, you saw him play really well at the back half of last year. So for me, the story that nobody is talking about is that Daquan Jones just isn't the player that we saw the last couple of years. And that's discouraging when you didn't really get, full-fledged prime Von Miller back. And thank goodness Gregory Rousseau, who's the best player on the defensive line right now by a mile, has been playing out of his absolute mind. But I think it's a Daquan Jones story. And I think it's one of those things that we're just not really dealing with in the public consciousness, but we probably should be.
Do you have any concern with Matt Milano coming back off that knee and then the biceps injury of his level of play? I mean, you probably got to see it, but do you have any concerns there? Do you think there's a potential, that Dorian Williams could eat at some snaps, or do you think when he returns, he's locked in there no matter what?
I think when he returns, he's locked in there no matter what. But I do have concerns. I mean, you always have concerns about players who are in their late 20s who have had multiple injuries. I don't think you can't really tell yourself, no, I'm fine, everything's going to be completely normal, because it might be, right? You don't know that for sure. But I will say that the Bills have seen, basically since Milano's rookie year, they've had no propensity to rotate linebackers. Like, it's just not a thing that they do, which means when Milano comes back, and that's just it. And Dorian Williams, thank you for your service, my friend. Keep the bench warm.
So no chance of a snap share in your mind. You think they wouldn't bring it? So you don't think they'd bring him back until he's ready to go full go out there and they've seen it in practice? Is basically
I do, and I think that they're going to be cautious with him because they know they can be at this point. The Bills have established a significant lead in the AFC East. The Miami Dolphins losing against the Green Bay Packers, I think, really helped with that. The Bills are one win away from claiming the division, which I think is good. I know that they would obviously prefer to get that number 1 seed and get a bye, but I think that they're really focusing on the playoffs. And when you think about whether you rather ease somebody in or just wait, I think they'd rather just wait.
Before we get Bruce's thoughts on the upcoming matchup with the 49ers, let us thank our sponsor quickly, Forefathers Organics in Dansville. At Forefathers Organics, their mission is to liberate, educate, and innovate with the highest quality CBD and hemp-derived products for your mind, body, and soul so you can live happy and free. Visit them at 87 Franklin Street in Dansville, online at forefathersorganics.com, or call them at 585-335-2223 to learn more about the products they offer. All right, Bruce, how about this 49ers matchup? A banged-up squad. They really haven't repeated the success that they found last year in their Super Bowl runner-up season. Kyle Shanahan has been forced to rotate running backs, quarterbacks, and even along the offensive line, defensive line. So what do you expect from this matchup? Do you think the 49ers have a chance without Brock Purdy? What are you hearing about Brock Purdy? I haven't seen the injury report today, but he was limited Wednesday, Thursday. Have you seen anything in the last few minutes here? I haven't been scrolling Twitter.
Yeah, I did. I actually saw him right before I hopped on. Brandon Allen was in a scout team jersey, and Brock Purdy was throwing. So it feels trending in the direction where Brock Purdy is going to play. That's a very significant swing to me. I know that people like to dismiss Brock Purdy as just being a product of the offense, but the fact of the matter is the offense actually has never played as well as it did under Brock Purdy. So if you think that,
and we all saw Brandon Allen against the Green Bay Packers. I don't think there's anything there.
It's the same conversation we have around Tua, right? Tua is a system quarterback, but yet the offense is a disaster without Tua.
Correct.
Like, they can't even function without Tua. And you go, okay, well, if he's a system quarterback, then apparently he's the only one in the world who could just really run that system at a high level. It's the same way with Brock Purdy, right? Disrespect to quarterbacks who aren't, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I don't know why we need to do it personally, because Brock Purdy arguably should have been the league MVP last year. He had a historic efficient season last year. Brock Purdy did. And I think that I understand Brandon Ayuk's not there. Their ability to manufacture touches, I think, is on the same level as it is with Miami when it comes to being able to manufacture players in space. Christian McCaffrey is back, although doesn't look quite as explosive as he used to be. They've essentially phased Jordan Mason completely out of that offense at this point, which I think is a good thing, because I think Jordan Mason played really well, and they're just like, no, you're done. Just sorry, just back to the bench for you, which is fine. I'm gonna take it for sure. I think one of the big things that we've seen over the last couple of weeks that I think the Bills are going to have to pay attention to is Jawan Jennings has become a really physical, chain-moving player for this 49ers offense. And coming out of college, Jawan Jennings was I will fight you in a phone booth kind of guy. And that has translated because they give him a lot of phone booths to fight in. I mean, he's not going to, break away and be wide open every play, but the Bills, especially when you think about the type of game that this could be in the snow, where the more physical team that shows up and wants to punch somebody in the face, they end up winning. Jawan Jennings is a tone setter for that team. The Bills need to make sure they're on their game, and they need to make sure he doesn't set the tone against them. They set the tone against him.
Yeah, you mentioned the snow. You can see here, if you're watching, Michael Wooten's X account showing a video of the westbound lane near the PA border about 20 minutes ago. This is the view from the Ripley exit, the I-90 West, currently closed from exit 59 to the PA state line. So the snow is coming, winter is here, and we'll see if it does indeed impact this matchup. AJ and I will discuss that on the other side. But Bruce, we appreciate you for taking some time on this Friday, this holiday Friday. Any chance of the eyebrow reveal? If not, I'll settle for a dog pic on Twitter.
I got to be honest, my camera's broken, Alex.
Fair.
I've been meaning to fix it. Daggone camera, man. It's just just hasn't been a high priority for me, man. Sorry about that.
Gotcha.
Josh Allen got engaged, by the way.
Is that confirmed now?
I don't know if it's good. Who confirmed it?
Ryan Talbot just posted. Yeah, Ryan Talbot just posted to his Twitter. Josh Allen posted it with Haley Steinfeld, and
that's great.
They are now he is now an engaged man. Took the bye week by storm.
What a beautiful couple. Thanksgiving
I can't wait
engagement.
for the narratives.
Right. What do you think?
Plays well or plays badly? It's going to be
yeah. Oh my! You should have never done it. Yeah.
You should have never done it. Right. He should keep his focus on football, AJ.
Yeah.
If he finishes the season on a slide, everyone's going to blame the engagement slump. It's going to be, the discourse is going to be very, very toxic. I can already see it. But hey, Bruce, thanks for joining us. Get on out of here. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right, AJ, good conversation with Bruce there. As I try to get back to our normal screen, I can't remember which one we use. There we go.
Bingo.
So we brought up the weather there shortly with Bruce, and that's where we'll conclude today's podcast. I'll share the screen again for the people. I mean, this is just incredible stuff. I don't know how far north it's going to get. I think you might see some of it quicker and maybe more so than I will in Batavia. I'm going to try to make it out to the game on Sunday. Hopefully that the roads have been cleared at that point and there's no impassable highways, this, that, and the other. And just hopefully everybody stays safe if they are planning to embark to Highmark Stadium. Take it slow. Give yourself plenty of time. Just be safe out there, and hopefully the snow clears enough that the fans can at least enter the stadium, and then bring all the snow you want. But leading into the game, let's have it clear, and then maybe a downpour of snow, and then stop post game for the drive home as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be based off of, I talked to Pat Hammer from WGRZ, and I just love the weather. Like, I'm fascinated with lake effect snow, so I'm always checking and looking at futurecasts. It looks like it's going to stay south mostly, like ski country today into tonight, and then overnight it's going to migrate up to the south towns for Saturday night and Sunday morning. So thank God it's not a Sunday 1 p.m. game, because if it was a Sunday 1 p.m. game, I think it would be a little bit more dicey. But it's supposed to tail back to the south Sunday afternoon. So that should be good in terms. I don't think there's going to be precipitation during the game on Sunday night. There's going to have to be a lot of clearing out. But the south towns, I mean, I'm supposed to get I'm in Angola. So if you're listening, that's like 10, 15 minutes south of Hamburg Orchard Park, 20 minutes about.
You're going to get pounded.
Yeah, we're going to get like 2 to 3 feet here. So that is definitely not ideal. But again, hopefully it times itself out where the Bills, it stops and then it starts again. Because next week as well, it's supposed to be snow the entire week based off what I've read in terms of lake effect. It's supposed to stick around. So the snow is not going anywhere, Alex. It's been a while. It hasn't snowed yet, but now that it's here, it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere for quite some time here.
Well, we knew we were going to get it eventually. You can't get through the entire fall / winter season without a heavy snowstorm. You typically can't get through November without a heavy snowstorm. And here we sit on November 29th, and we have yet to see it. So I guess we're due for it. We've been lucky thus far, and we'll see where it takes us. But like I said, everybody stay safe. If you plan on going to the game, AJ, you and your family stay safe. Don't exert yourself too much shoveling. We don't want any injuries. we got to be at full.
We got the snowblower here now. My dad upgraded, so we'll be good. We'll be good there.
We got to be at full strength. Before we get out of here, let's thank our friends at Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
All right, thanks to Bruce for joining us. AJ, before we get out of here, any final thoughts for you? We will preview the game on Sunday before the 8:20 matchup, but you're a big weather buff, so I'm sure that even though you're hunkering down, you're excited to watch this front come in and see what kind of damage, for the lack of a better word. We don't want true damage. I just mean in terms of the dumping of snow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game Sunday. I think, again, it's a big game. The Bills, 6 in a row, right? You're trying to win the AFC East. Niners are really their backs against the wall. The Bills have been in that situation against other teams, it feels like, throughout the season, where teams really need to win, and they've still gotten it done. The Dolphins came into Orchard Park a couple weeks ago, and the Bills came away with that 30-27 win. The Dolphins really needed that win. Now they're 5-7, and their playoff hopes look really bleak if they don't, win out here and win 5 in a row. So I think this Bills team has a great opportunity. You have Keon Coleman probably coming back into the fold. He's questionable. And Milano is also questionable. So we'll see what goes on there. You're without Dalton Kincaid, but again, I think this 49ers team is the weakest it's ever been. They've dealt with a lot of injuries this year. Their defense isn't playing as it usually does, and their offense has not been, connecting and hasn't really found its rhythm yet to this point. So it's good. It's always a tough test against a team coached by Kyle Shanahan and what they do over there, especially with Christian McCaffrey back in the fold. But the Bills, as long as the weather, it's not snowing like crazy, I think they'll be able to figure this one out and get it done. So we'll see, but I'm looking forward to it.
So Brock Purdy trending toward a return. We're unsure on Trent Williams and Nick Bosa. We'll continue to monitor that over the next several hours, and we'll be back on Sunday with a game preview from Highmark Stadium. For AJ, I'm Alex. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.